Narratives are very interesting. In one aspect, it can really heighten anticipation. In another, it could hurt potential momentum if expectations are not reached. The media and fans seem to love to create narratives, and candidly, the NBA seems to thrive off them. Since Kobe retired, we've been searching for the next resemblance of whom most would consider the greatest of all time. The NBA seems enamored to find the next Michael Jordan, and rightfully so. The 14-time All-Star changed the total style and substance of the sport. From an on-court standpoint, Michael Jordan made basketball a global phenomenon, which can be attributed to his unparalleled athleticism and superior technique. No other player in the history of the NBA has meant more to a city and a team that he represented more than Michael. Most powerhouses in the NBA have gone through various phases in which a new superstar was leading the team. The Celtics and Lakers have long lists of Hall of Famers who all contributed to the team's successes as a whole. But no one player truly rose above another within the timeline of those teams and others. Whereas Michael Jordan, on the other hand, single-handedly molded the Chicago Bulls into a winning team. Back then, the Bulls were easily the underdogs. Michael Jordan's influence extended beyond the court in Chicago as he became an international icon through Nike. His fame helped Nike become one of the most famous athletic brands in the world. MJ changed not only the game of basketball, but the game of merchandising and consumerism. His partnership with the shoe brand started a new wave of merchandising athletes with their own products. It's hard to compare anybody to the basketball brilliance and impact of an MJ to anybody. Yet we have, and in the latest edition of doing so, Anthony Edwards' name come up quite frequently. Anthony Edwards have done his best to evade any comparisons to Michael Jordan, but it's becoming increasingly hard to ignore the similarities between the two. Aside from the athleticism, pestering defense, and silky smooth mid-range jumper, Anthony knows when to take over the game like Michael. Anthony is the 5th fastest player in NBA playoff history to total at least 600 points, 100 rebounds, 100 assists, behind only Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Tracy McGrady. So far, Anthony has averaged 29.1 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 4.9 assists over 21 postseason games in the first 3 seasons in the league, while shooting 50% from the field and 39.9% from the 3-point range. Comparatively, MJ only played 10 playoff games over his first 3 seasons in the league. His Chicago Bulls were beaten in the first round 3 straight years from 1985 to 1987, even though Michael averaged 35.5 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 6.9 assists per game. Despite MJ's level of play, the Bulls were 1-9 in his first 10 postseason games. The lack of support and cast around Jordan hurt Chicago's chances of making a deep playoff run early in his career, something that cannot be said for Anthony. With that being said, I don't see Anthony coming anywhere near the legacy of MJ. However, there's another legend that I do think he shares many similarities with, and that's no other than Dwayne Wade. I think in both career arc and style of play, it makes more sense. Dwayne is easily a top 5 shooting guard who used his elite athleticism to compensate for a somewhat shaky 3-pointer. He was a phenomenal shot maker and an unstoppable driver who found a knack for getting to his spots. Ant has a lot of that same athleticism and downhill driving ability. Both players have exceptional body control in the air and can make acrobatic finishes. Their handling speed allows them to split defenses, and they have great footwork to get out their post fadeaways. The biggest difference between the two is, at this point, their 3-point shooting. Dwayne had some good years, but was only a 29.3% shooter from the 3-point line. Anthony has hit 35.3% in his career and looks more comfortable shooting them off the dribble already than Wade has ever did. Another thing that makes these two quite similar is their defensive tools. Wade was a two-way juggernaut who used his athletic gifts to wreak havoc on the defensive end. He's remembered as arguably the best shot blocking guard of all time. Anthony doesn't have the same volume of blocks, but his are just as spectacular. Anthony started his career as a shaky defender, but he has become a lockdown one-on-one menace in his 4th year. He punished Jamal Murray into shooting 40.3% from the field in the Western Conference semifinals. Dwayne Wade won his first NBA championship in his third NBA season, taking over a Miami Heat team and showing that he was unquestionably the best player in that series. He had 2 games over 40 points in those finals, including a 42-point pivotal Game 3 that prevented the Miami Heat from going down 0-3. Anthony's playoff performances is starting to look radically similar to the Wade championship year. He hasn't gotten that ring yet, but he's broken out in the same way, with 2 games over 40 and more against the Denver Nuggets and 1 against the Phoenix Suns. Their box score statistics are almost exactly the same, even more than the basic statistics. Both players are impacted winning at the same level. Now, with that being said, Anthony still has a while to go to catch Wade's 13 All-Star selections, 3 All-Defensive teams, 3 rings, and Finals MVP, but he's on the right track. He has all the tools to one day be a part of the all-time top 5 shooting guards discussion right alongside Dwayne Wade. Stephen A. Smith has never been one to shy away from a bold take. He's made an imposing case for Kawhi Leonard as potentially the worst superstar in sports history. Stephen A. emphasized that his criticism was not about Kawhi's on-court abilities. The crux of Stephen A.'s argument revolves around Kawhi's chronic unavailability and lack of engagement off the court. Kawhi's injury history is an imperative part of the discussion. Over the first 4 years with the Clippers, Kawhi has averaged just 40.3 games per season. Smith pointed out that Kawhi has missed 15 of the last 19 Clippers playoff games. Even during the 2020-21 season, when the Clippers reached their Western Conference Finals, Kawhi was absent due to injury. Stephen A. expressed his frustration over Kawhi's pattern of missing pivotal games. Smith also criticized Kawhi's perceived lack of effort in promoting games and engaging with fans. He even mentioned Kawhi's New Balance commercial where children speak instead of Kawhi himself, underscoring his unwillingness to engage publicly. The stats highlighted by Stephen A. reinforce his argument regarding Kawhi Leonard's frequent absence from games in recent seasons. Over the last 5 years, Kawhi has missed a notable number of games each season, impacting both the regular season and the playoffs. Smith's critique underscores a border frustration with Kawhi's inconsistent availability and a lack of public engagement, which he argues undermines his status as a superstar despite his undeniable talent. So why would the Clippers give Kawhi Leonard a $153 million contract when he's injury prone? The answer lies in Kawhi's marvelous talent. When healthy, Kawhi is undeniably one of the top 10 players in the league. His impact on the court is immense, and his skills are tailored for success in high-stakes situations, particularly in the playoffs. His career averages of 20 points, 16.4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.7 steals on 49.9% shooting from the field, and 39.1% shooting from the three-point range don't do real justice at his peak talent level. Kawhi's game is multifaceted. Offensively, he's a scoring machine who can create his own shot at will, making him a consistent threat. His ability to perform under pressure and deliver in clutch moments sets him apart from many other stars. Defensively, Kawhi is a powerhouse. His prowess in shutting down the opposition best player is critical, especially in a playoff series where defensive matchups can be a difference between winning and losing. The Clippers' decision to offer Kawhi a significant contract is rooted in the potential upside he brings. If Kawhi can maintain his health for even just one season, the Clippers' championship aspirations become significantly more realistic. His presence elevates that team to a contender status, providing them with a legitimate shot at securing an NBA title. This potential makes the rest of his injury history worth taking. And that's Kawhi Leonard. When healthy, he's a top 10 caliber player. However, injuries have played a significant role in Kawhi's career, on top of load management. Now we have to ask ourselves, can we get mad at Kawhi for taking advantage of the rules that are implemented? When a player is dealing with various injuries, it's understood that rest is almost always the best medicine. The con of that is the fan experience. There are fans that travel from other cities and states just to see specific players play. Those players not playing is not only a bad look, but it's exceedingly bad for business. So from that perspective, I can see why Stephen A. would state that Kawhi is the worst superstar in sports history. As an owner or a GM, you would want your superstar player to help with ticket revenue. However, him consistently sitting out isn't necessarily doing that. However, it's kind of hard for me to call a 2-time Finals MVP, a 2-time champion, and one of the greatest two-way players in NBA history the worst superstar in the history of sports. His resume is too impeccable. There has been various superstars who haven't lived up to the expectations that was placed upon them. And again, I know that Kawhi has missed a good quantity of games due to his load managing, but when Kawhi's on the court performing, he performs well. Thanks for watching. Sorry I haven't been as consistent the past months, but I'm starting to get back into the groove of things. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're interested. See you next video.